In the heart of Lagos, where the air was always thick with the smell of roasted corn, exhaust fumes, and dreams, lived Adobe and Chuka. They were the kind of couple neighbors admired, always stepping out together, matching clothes sometimes, hands intertwined like young lovers who had just met. Chuka was tall, broad shouldered, and worked as a bank manager. Adobe, graceful and light skinned, ran a small but thriving boutique. They had been married for 3 years. The only thing missing was a child. It was not for lack of trying. They had prayed, fasted, seen doctors, and swallowed bitter herbs recommended by old women in the market. So when Adobe finally fell pregnant, it was as though heaven had finally opened its gates just for them. From the first day she told him, Chuka became a man possessed by joy. He pampered her, massaging her feet, cooking for her, even rubbing her back in the middle of the night when she could not sleep. He told anyone who cared to listen that his queen was carrying the future of Congo air. The pregnancy was smooth, the cravings manageable, and Adobe glowed. Neighbors would say, Pregnancy fits you, Adobe. You're even lighter than before. She would smile, rubbing her growing belly. The morning their son was born, Chuka cried openly in the hospital ward, but his tears quickly turned into something else. Confusion, then shock. The baby was beautiful, with round cheeks and a strong cry, but his skin was deep, rich brown, several shades darker than either of them. For a long moment, Chuka just stood there, staring, unable to speak. His mind swirled. He looked at Adobe, then at the child, then back at her. Adza, whose child is this? His voice was low but heavy, the kind that carried anger and betrayal. Adobe's smile faltered. Ours, Chuka. This is our son. Chuka shook his head slowly. Do you take me for a fool? Look at him. Look at his skin. Nurses shifted uncomfortably. One even tried to hush him, but Chuka's voice rose. No, tell me, Adobe, who is the father of this child? Her eyes widened in disbelief. Chuka, you'd think I would. But he had already stepped back, his face hardening. Don't lie to me. I know my own blood. This? This is not my blood. The joy that had filled the room moments earlier drained out, leaving only a suffocating tension. After they returned home, Chuka withdrew into himself. He did not shout, did not insult her, but he stopped speaking to her except when necessary. He slept in the guest room. He refused to hold the baby. Adobe tried to explain, but what could she say? The truth was tangled in a secret she had buried long ago, a secret she had promised herself she would never dig up again. Every night, she sat up, feeding the baby while staring at Chuka's closed door, wondering how long she could keep the truth inside before it destroyed them completely. You see, when Adobe was 16, she had been mocked relentlessly for her dark skin. Her cousins called her charcoal. Her classmates nicknamed her burnt bread. She laughed it off in public, but inside, the words stuck like thorns. One day, she saw an advert for skin lightening cream. The model's skin was flawless, glowing like gold. The caption read, Be beautiful, be desired. And that night, she began bleaching in secret. Within a year, she was almost unrecognizable. Her skin several shades lighter, her features more accepted by society's cruel standards. Compliments poured in. People who once ignored her now called her pretty. Even boys who had laughed at her before began to ask her out. By the time she met Chuka at university, she was already fully transformed. He fell for her without hesitation. She never told him who she used to be. She convinced herself it did not matter anymore. But now, her son's skin had pull the truth from the shadows. In Oku Estate, gossip traveled faster than electricity. By the third week after the baby's birth, whispers had started. They say it's not Chuka's child, one neighbor muttered at the gate. I heard she has a boyfriend, another added. The worst part? Chuka's own mother came to the house one evening carrying a bag of yam and palm oil. She took one look at the baby and clicked her tongue. This is not my grandchild, she said coldly. Chuka, you need to open your eyes. Adobe's chest tightened. She wanted to scream. This is your grandchild. But Chuka did not defend her. He simply turned away. One night, Chuka returned home late. Adobe was sitting in the living room, rocking the baby. We need to talk. He dropped his keys on the table, his eyes cold. About what? How you cheated on me? Her voice trembled. I did not cheat on you, Chuka. I swear on my life. This child is yours. He laughed bitterly. Do you think I'm blind? He does not even look like me. Because I was not always this light skinned. The words rushed out before she could stop them. He froze. What do you mean? She swallowed hard. I used to be dark, very dark. I started bleaching when I was a teenager. I never told you because I was ashamed. But this is our child, Chuka. He's my blood, your blood. The only difference? He looks like the real me, the me I hid from you. Chuka stared at her for a long time, his face unreadable. Then, without a word, he walked out. Adobe did not see him until the next afternoon. He came back holding a brown envelope. Inside were two DNA test results, one for him and the baby, one for Adobe and the baby. Her hands shook as she opened them. Both results read the same, 99.9 probability of paternity. Her eyes filled with tears. You did a test without telling me? I had to know, he said quietly. And now I do. The weeks that followed were not easy. The hurt from the mistrust still lingered, and Adobe's secret had left scars. But slowly, Chuka began holding the baby, playing with him, smiling again. One evening, as the sun dipped below the rooftops, Chuka sat beside her on the sofa. I'm sorry, he said. I should have trusted you. I let my doubts poison my mind. She shook her head. I should have told you the truth from the beginning. I thought I had erased my past, but it came back in the most beautiful way. Chuka looked at their son sleeping peacefully in her arms. His skin is beautiful, Ada, like his mother's was, and still is. In time, the rumors died down. Neighbors moved on to other stories, and Chuka's mother eventually accepted her grandchild, though she never admitted she had been wrong. Adobe stopped using bleaching creams entirely. She began speaking to young girls at local schools about self-worth, telling them how chasing beauty had almost cost her everything. And every evening, Chuka would come home, kiss his wife, and lift his son high into the air. Because now he knew the color of love was not in the skin, but in the truth they chose to share. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.